Good day to you, and you can call me Arthur Twiggs. Today, we continue with our series on Elon Musk. According to The Verge, in 2020, Elon Musk and Tesla received $1.5 billion in American taxpayer dollars for environmental subsidies. And then Elon Musk and Tesla turned around and spent that same $1.5 billion of taxpayer money on a $1.5 billion Bitcoin purchase, which is mostly mined from electricity produced by coal. Bitcoin is an inefficient digital cryptocurrency that mainly uses coal-powered electricity to be mined. Experts agree that a carbon tax should be placed on Bitcoin mining. Even Elon Musk agrees with a carbon tax, which you will hear about shortly. Tesla's $1.5 billion environmental subsidy needs to be re-examined in direct response to their $1.5 billion purchase of Bitcoin, which is currently trading above $50,000 in response to Elon Musk's purchase. American taxpayers just bought Elon Musk and Tesla $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin. So, let's get in line. Maybe Uncle Sam will do the same thing for us. Musk should be ashamed of himself on this transaction. Even though mining happens virtually, it results in greenhouse gas emissions that fuels a climate crisis in the real world. And the vast majority of miners are in China, using dirty, coal-based energy. I've said before, the Chinese mine 60 to 70% of all Bitcoin, and there is something else to think about. Tesla has high-quality issues with the Chinese government. Was the Bitcoin purchase a public relations stunt with the Chinese at the expense of the American people? Bitcoin is purposely designed to be anti-efficient. Bitcoin's inefficiency is how it stays secure and accurate. With Bitcoin, it pays to pollute. This is the opposite of Tesla's core mission of accelerating the world's transition to sustainable energy, and a seemingly betrayal of the environmental subsidies given to Tesla by the American taxpayer. Should the American taxpayer reap the rewards of Elon's purchase? Perhaps there should be some increased oversight as it relates to all of this transaction. But again, who knows the real involvement with Musk and the United States government? Is our government catering to his whims in exchange for the quantum supremacy through the Musk satellite network? Despite Bitcoin's current value, the future does not bode well for inefficient digital currencies like Bitcoin. Microsoft, Google, and Apple are committed to carbon neutral and carbon zero pledges. These companies are influencing others to follow them, and there is zero chance that they will go back on their carbon-free pledges. If the current administration decides to place sanctions on proof-of-work cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin that uses a ton of electricity, Bitcoin value is in real trouble. Bitcoin has doubled in the last 2 months. It can go in the opposite direction just as quickly. Eventually, Bitcoin's price will nosedive. It's inevitable that Bitcoin will be called out for being a dirty currency. Ultimately, Bitcoin will be canceled by the millennial investors who will invest in other energy-efficient digital currencies like XRP, Stellar, Cardano, VeChain, and even Tron. With Elon Musk's purchase of $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin, did he betray the American people who gave him $1.5 billion in environmental subsidies? I think he did, and so do a lot of other people. So how dirty is Bitcoin? More about this when I return. Tesla boss Musk was the poster child of low-carbon technology. Elon Musk is no longer a leader in clean energy, and specifically carbon technology. A single Bitcoin transaction equals a tank of gas. If you buy a Tesla with Bitcoin, that is the equivalent of wasting 3,000 miles in the energy-efficient Tesla. Tesla's backing of Bitcoin this week could turbocharge global use of the currency that's estimated to cause more pollution than a small country every year. For you newer cryptocurrency investors, here is a brief explanation. Bitcoin currency is created when high-powered computers compete against other machines to solve complex mathematical puzzles. This is an energy-extensive process that currently often relies on fossil fuels, particularly coal, the dirtiest of them all. Bitcoin production is estimated to produce around 22.9 million metric tons of carbon dioxide emissions, which is more than the country of Argentina. If Bitcoin were a country, its annual electric consumption would rank 30th in the world. Bitcoin's system is called proof of work. That is deliberately made difficult. This is to dissuade people from trying to take over or corrupt the blockchain records. It also gets expensive to mine Bitcoin because of the cost of the machines and all of the energy that they guzzle. And Bitcoin's energy consumption has risen steadily since October as the price of Bitcoin spiked. That bubble could burst, but Tesla's purchase has given the price of Bitcoin and its carbon dioxide emissions an added lift. Wall Street Journal columnist Jason Zweig wrote that Bitcoin mining is on track to consume almost as much electricity in 2021 as all of the world's transportation systems combined. The higher the Bitcoin price becomes, the more profitable it is to mine, so more miners will want to participate, which means more electricity consumption. Every miner's objective is making a profit, so they don't care about what kind of energy they use, hydro, wind, solar, or burning coal. Jack Liu, CEO of Chinese mining firm, states that the problem is that those miners that last the longest will be the ones who use cheap fossil fuels, simply because it is the cheapest and the more stable source. John Quiggin, an economics professor at the University of Queensland, called Tesla's decision environmental vandalism. If you're concerned about the energy transition, maybe you should be looking at General Motors, who might be late to the electric auto party, but at least you can't imagine that they're going to go off into Bitcoin world, he said. To further complicate matters for Bitcoin, there's been talk among experts of adding a carbon tax to inefficient digital currencies, as well as producers of carbon dioxide emissions. And in a weird twist, worthy of Musk, Elon Musk calls a carbon tax his top recommendation in order to combat climate change. So, all of you new Bitcoin investors, be prepared for the upcoming carbon tax. I will quote Musk here. He says, "My top recommendation, honestly, would be just to add a carbon tax. The economy works great. Prices and money are just information. If the price is wrong, the economy doesn't do the right thing. If we just put a price on carbon emissions, the market will react in a sensible way. But because we don't have a price on it, it is behaving badly," Musk says. Or, Mr. Musk, you could pick a cryptocurrency rather than Bitcoin with the goal of reducing carbon emissions altogether, but I'll come to that in a moment. A carbon tax is Elon Musk's top recommendation for polluters. What would be the carbon tax on $1.5 billion worth of Bitcoin? I wonder. Somebody do the math. Y'all know I like to wonder. And there's something even more dangerous aiming at Bitcoin's value. And this threat to Bitcoin's value is happening as I speak. According to Candlegraph.com, Bitcoin and the Bitcoin miners now have invisible enemies called green hackers. And the goal of these green hackers is to destroy Bitcoin, period. Full stop in its tracks. A self-styled developer and ecologist who goes by the name of Frank Leroy advocates for the destruction of the Bitcoin network through ethical hacking. He states in a post titled, "Green Hackers Around the World, Let's Destroy Bitcoin. Bitcoin is an irrational and destructive financial bubble that is hugely damaging to the climate due to its exorbitant use of electricity." Leroy calls on green hackers to destroy Bitcoin, stating that the network can be undermined by mounting something similar to a DOS attack with fake transactions to clog the network. He also suggests linking to other sources for other attack ideas. He adds, it is not even necessary that a computer attack actually take place, but that investors fear it. If a group of hackers, real or fake, announced an impending attack, the price of Bitcoin would likely collapse. What's the answer to dirty proof-of-work Bitcoin energy problem? The solution is a proof-of-stake digital currency. The proof-of-stake digital currency does not require so many complex puzzles to validate its transactions. Investors do well, in my opinion, to keep these very real differences between dirty Bitcoin and a clean energy digital currency like Ripple or XRP in mind if they are interested in cryptocurrencies. In a nutshell, let's compare transaction cost of proof of work, Bitcoin versus the leading proof of stake coin XRP. XRP transactions cost nothing, or an average of 1/100th of a penny, while Bitcoin's transactions, not including their terrible environmental impact, cost about 50 cents per transaction. And during times of heavy usage, Bitcoin's fees, according to Exodus.com, have gotten as high as $55. This is not appealing to customers or banks who move around vast sums of money. And here's the most important factor for the future of cryptocurrency. Ripple has pledged that the XRP coin will be carbon-free by 2030. So, Ripple XRP is faster than Bitcoin and better for the environment. That sounds like the ideal coin for Elon Musk, not Bitcoin. Here is what Monica Long, the general manager of Ripple, has to say about Ripple's XRP decision to become carbon neutral by 2030. This audio interview by Rachel McIntosh is brought to us by Finance Magnets.
I want to talk to you a little bit about the sustainability efforts that Ripple and Ripple X have taken underway. And you guys recently announced that Ripple's goal is to be carbon neutral by 2030, which is awesome. Can you talk a little bit more about that particular goal, sort of what led Ripple, to make this decision, and what does this mean on a practical level?
Yeah, I mean, so what brought us to that goal and making a commitment was just opening our eyes and really understanding what the carbon impact is of the crypto space.
Mm-hmm.
When you look at crypto more broadly, the predominant method of transaction confirmation, of course, is mining, and mining is really energy intensive.
Yeah.
So what brought us to making a commitment and really leading in this space is just understanding that as crypto really does become the future of money, this issue of carbon emissions from systems like mining, it's just going to increase more and more. And so we wanted to kind of take a lead on making a commitment to be carbon neutral, but then also to bring the industry along. And, we want to partner with others on this. So we also worked with Rocky Mountain Institute and the Energy Web Foundation to develop an open source tool where other blockchains can also commit to decarbonize and to take action.
So it's like the Paris Climate Treaty, but for the blockchain space a little bit.
We would love that. We would love to kind of, put our hands in the middle and make a commitment together.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be amazing. So what, I mean, obviously sustainability is sort of a big topic in the cryptocurrency space because of Bitcoin, again, because of the Tesla investment in Bitcoin, Bitcoin's been the center of a lot of media attention. And, sort of inevitably what comes along with that is like, these articles or, like little news segments that are like, did you know that Bitcoin uses as much energy as Switzerland or, that sort of thing. So that's sort of top of mind, I think, for a lot of people in the cryptocurrency industry who care about Bitcoin, as well as people, outside of the cryptocurrency industry who kind of hold that up as see like, well, see, this is not a good thing. How might the cryptocurrency industry sort of start to see sustainability as a more serious issue, and how might also that begin to influence something like Bitcoin, which is sort of the flagship of the cryptocurrency world, for better or for worse?
I think the first step is having a conversation about it. So, I mean, it's great you're making this a topic on your show, and it is good that we're seeing a light starting to shine on what the issue is through media attention. 2020 was a huge year for crypto generally. I mean, Bitcoin alone grew 4x in market cap, and with that, mining doubled last year.
Yeah.
And so just to kind of like put into perspective, what is the climate impact of mining? Mining currently consumes about 0.5% of the global energy. It accounts for 0.5% of global energy consumption. And we've read those headlines. I read one the other day from University of Cambridge saying, I think Bitcoin mining is equivalent to the energy consumption of Netherlands in the course of a year. And to bring that down to like per Bitcoin transaction, right now, it's equivalent to about burning 75 gallons of gas. So that kind of helps me if I can
per
like
Bitcoin transaction.
Yes.
Oh my God.
And the thing is, I think what's awesome is, Bitcoin really reached a watershed moment last year with institutional adoption really picking up. We saw big companies like PayPal, Square, large corporates like MicroStrategy, and some really large funds kind of getting into Bitcoin. Tesla being the biggest headline, of course, just this year. So that kind of tipping of the scales has been really great for institutional adoption. But then that means that there's a greater stress on the hash rate and the amount of energy needed to mine Bitcoin. Right. So I think the first step is let's have a conversation about it. Let's just recognize that it's a problem that we're all better off if we address it now and get ahead of it. It's a very innovative tech space, crypto. So we can solve this problem together. Let's get ahead of it so we don't have to solve the problem later, like in other industries like auto.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, especially since we've seen the Biden administration incoming in the United States, like sustainability is suddenly a huge, bigger policy issue than it has been, arguably ever before in the United States.
And even just to chime in there, Rachel, even globally, I had read that in the UK, the Prime Minister made a big statement and is making a big commitment to lead a green industrial revolution in Europe, and he wants London to be the green financial capital. And so I think we're seeing this as like a very global trend.
Well, the good news is there are digital cryptocurrencies leading the way to become faster, better, and more environmentally friendly. I believe Ripple and XRP have the answers for the future. The world's global glare is on Bitcoin, but not for long. XRP is at a price everyone can afford. It's faster, better, and cheaper. That is the key concept for all great entrepreneurs: faster, better, cheaper. Ripple, XRP? What do you think? Do you believe Elon Musk betrayed the American public by accepting $1.5 billion in environmental subsidies to solve carbon emission issues, and then turn right around to buy $1.5 billion worth of carbon-polluting Bitcoin? I have my thoughts. What are yours? Do you believe Bitcoin will nosedive from its high of $50,000? And what do you think about Ripple XRP and their commitment to the future? Do you believe XRP will rise, and how high? Please join me for my next show. My mind just can't stop, and I want to know the answers. Please tell your friends and family to join in, and be sure to subscribe. Hit the like button and the alarm button to be notified of future shows. Thank you so much for watching.